What's up, everybody? It's your boy, Coach T, with Chicago Bears 360, with Coach T and Swifty. Back with another episode for you on this August 14th, man. Happy Sunday to everybody. Happy start of the football season, unofficially, to all the Bears fans out there. And y'all know it's going down. If you are a Bears fan, you're aware of what happened on yesterday. Yesterday unofficially kicked off the preseason. Let me move myself over because my graphics is not lining up with my head. Oh, okay, cool. Anyway, unofficial kickoff of the preseason. Got things bussing. Matt Eberflus debut with the Chicago Bears started out. But do me a favor before we get into all that. Do me a favor, man. Run those likes up in the comment section. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. And also hit the notification bell, man, so y'all can tap in to Coach T and Swifty on Chicago Bears 360. But before we get into that, I want y'all to hang on quite 1 second. I want all my detractors to hold this graphic real fast for me. Let me pull something up for you. Y'all know I don't care. It's about getting the point across. But I got to get a message out real fast. I want y'all to see something. I want y'all to see something real fast. Let me get it up. All right, cool. All right, cool. All right, yeah. Before we get into the intro, I want y'all to hold something for me. I just want y'all to, No, I tell you what, let me do it like this. I don't care about it being all pretty today. I just want to make a small point. Just a small point. Y'all see that play right there? Matter of fact, if I make it a little bit smaller, let me make it a little bit smaller. Yeah. What did we call that play during we did our playbook session? That was a pro left eye, 34 counter tray, right? You see the motion that we put out right here? We set the Z flea motion with the reverse, right? Not quite power, but that's the counter with the Z flea motion and the reverse. The wrinkles that I put out there, I said it's going to be reversed. I just want to throw something on the board for y'all real fast. I just want to throw something on, no sound. Oh yeah, that's the power play. We talked about it in our playbook sessions. Let me go back to this play again. You see the counter play, right? I just showed y'all power, right? I just switched over to power. This is the power play. Pro left eye, the power I just showed you right there, right? Now let me go back down. Same motion. I just want to show y'all something real fast. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got to do this because people bleed. They think you out here making stuff up. So let me see. First off power. All right, cool. Let's get into it. Y'all know what's next. Cue the intro. Contra.
Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence. On the road to them Benjis, I fill my teeth with diamonds. I'm high as fuck in the sky, you would've thought I'm pilot. I'm from Chicago, it get ugly, fill the streets with violence. Life like chess, move to pieces, you know I roll in silence.
Past, present, future.
And just like that, we're back. Sometimes you got to show the people, man. Sometimes you just got to, you got detractors out there, man. And sometimes you just got to show the people, man. So welcome back to the show, man. I know it was a little bit messy right there up front, but do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Let's get this algorithm busting, man. Yeah, I was just trying to put on display for you that when we did our playbook sessions, right? I talked about some of the formation. I talked about some of the concepts that we might see out of this offense. Yeah, we mentioned outside, inside zone. That's easy. But we also talked about some of the power concepts that we might see. I'm going to throw them back up on the board so we can take and pay attention to those again and take a look at that. So This is the counter tray or the counter tray concept, right? But I also drew up a power concept. This is the power concept, and I said, hey, we're not just going to line up and run power, right? But we're going to have some eye candy, and we're going to have some counter moves and counter plays off of the power. So we'll go with a Z fly or X fly motion, Z flea motion with a reverse. So again, I want to show you the first play. The first play is the straight up power play. See the pulling guard? The pulling guard, right? Carter pulls on the first play. Let's try and run that back. See the pulling guard, the counter play, power play. Yeah, these are concepts we're going to see, right? And then there's the reverse motion that we drew up prior to the season off of the counter play, off of the power play, right? Just to give them something else to look at that Daz Newsome runs that goes for a big gang of yards, right? So again, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes, man, people just want to hate just to hate, or they just want to be detractors just to be detractors. But that's an example of some of the stuff we're saying. But big picture, man, Matt Eberflus debut with the Chicago Bears, man. Big shout out to Coach Flu, Luke Getsy, and Alan Williams, man. I felt like these guys had a great debut with the team, the Bears. Actually had a chance to do at least 4 sweeps throughs of the offense. I'll probably do a Wednesday session just to focus on defense. But I had a chance to look at the film, at least 3 walkthroughs or 4 walkthroughs with the film. And I started with the offensive line. So I'm gonna go back to my Twitter account real fast. Matter of fact, I need to send out the show alert. I'm gonna go to my Twitter account real fast and let you guys know what I said about the offensive line and my rankings and my scores for the offensive line. And then I'm gonna get back to you real fast and let you know what I surmised from the rest of those guys and how they played up front. So thank you. If you're coming to the channel, man, welcome to the channel, Coach Chicago Bears 360 with Coach T. I'm trying to let my Twitter followers know we're online right now because I don't want anybody to miss the show real fast. So bear with me 1 second. Yeah, I'm kind of all over the place because I'm excited about the results that we got yesterday, right? So real fast on Twitter, I posted my O-line grades late last night, because I had a busy day yesterday and I didn't get back to watching film until late last night. So let's take a look at those real fast. My first unit offensive line grades. Real fast. And you can catch these, you can find these on Twitter at Bears_360. My first unit offensive line, Braxton Jones, I gave an A. Braxton was very impressive. Shout out to my boy Swifty, who identified that early, that, Braxton Jones was going to be a dog, man, and he was every bit as advertised, man. Every play, he came off the ball and run plays. He brought his hands, and he ran his feet. He played to the whistle, very aggressive with his feet and his hands, playing to the echo of the whistle. I have no complaints in both pass protection and run in the run game. In the pass protection, he just swallowed defenders in the pass game. He was very fluid with his feet. His hips were good. He wasn't bending and lunging at the waist. He didn't get his head over his feet and catch himself off balance where defenders could get him off balance and compromise his technique. And then he just used his hands well. So there's not a whole lot to go in about that. But again, shout out to Swifty for identifying him early in the draft as us picking up. And then also having done the breakdown on the film and let us know that, Braxton was going to be a dog. You know what I'm saying? As a tenant, I still don't like rookie offensive tackles just as a tenet of football. But let me tell you, that's more of a testament to Braxton coming in and being one. It's more of a testament to Ryan Foles of finding a guy that's a system fit, one. Two, but Braxton coming in and capitalizing on the opportunity and make the most of his opportunity and performing well on his first day, right? I think he's a fit for what we're trying to do. And shout out to, Ryan Foles. If this guy can basically get through a 17, 18 game NFL season as a fifth round rookie, and then the other part that I didn't say about Braxton is they didn't send a whole lot of help Braxton's way. And I try to emphasize how important that is in football when you're playing offensive football. A lot of people don't understand when an offensive coordinator doesn't have to send a running back help or a tight end chip or delay on your side, then that makes you have more people eligible to be receivers in the passing game. I didn't see a whole lot of plays. Matter of fact, I don't remember seeing any plays where they sent him help, but you know what I'm saying? Don't hold me to that. They probably sent him help 1 or 2 plays, but it wasn't a whole lot. It definitely wasn't as much help as they sent Tevin Jenkins and Larry Borum last year. So that's my Braxton Jones grade. Y'all can put Jones A down in the comment section. Run those comments up for me. Keep track of those in the comments for me. So Braxton Jones, I gave Cody White here. I gave a B minus. There were some plays where I felt like a couple plays here and there where, you know what I'm saying, he struggled a little bit in the passing game. But overall, in the run game, I thought he came off the ball well. He was very physical in his hands. I thought, again, there was a few plays here and there where I thought he could have, got a better setup, anchored himself a little bit better in the pass game and performed a little better. Sam Mustipher, I gave a C. I gave a C because there was a little bit of controversy between whether, on certain plays it was Sam Mustipher's fault or if it was Schofield's fault. But in the pass game, I didn't think Sam anchored himself well, right? Against bull rushes. Defenders were able to push the pocket back into the lap of Justin Fields a lot more than you would like, right? The collapsing of the pocket, you just can't happen. Can't have it happen. And this is not a surprise to a lot of us that watched Sam play last year. I thought he was decent in the run game as well, right? He wasn't terrible, like awful in the pass game. Again, I just think he could anchor himself better in the passing game and that allows so much push in the pocket. Again, he wasn't terrible in the run game either. There was a couple plays here and there, more than I would like to see out of the 18 plays, where he just didn't sync up and lock up on his run blocks, right? Which, you know what I'm saying, where he got his hands in the breastplate of the defender and got, you know what I'm saying, the defender locked in on the block where he could run him. There was too many times where I saw, you know what I'm saying, that he slipped off of a block and he just looked lost in space because he wasn't linked up on a specific player. And I understand the double to climb concept, right? So if you have to double with a guard and climb to the next level, I understand that. I think maybe on some of those plays, he was premature in his climb, right? You have to make sure if you're doubling with a guard and you're climbing to the next level, you got to make sure that your guard has got that good sync up, right? And he has a good hold of the guy that you're leaving off for you to climb. I think he was climbing a little bit premature and it left him lost in space a little bit. So Sam Mustipher gets a C for me. Got to scroll back down because Twitter decided to take me back to the top. Who else we got here? Schofield, big fat D, man, big fat D. I didn't like him in the I didn't like him in the passing game at all. Of course, everybody saw the sack versus Jones, but there are other plays where Schofield just looked lost in space, man. His feet weren't anchored. It just seemed like he was too anxious. He was uncomfortable. His feet weren't in sync with his hips and his hands. Like, it just seemed like he was lost in space from the snap of the ball to the finish of the play. It seemed like he was behind, like defenders in that pass rush. I saw a couple times where he'd go to strike with his punch, and defenders would go straight to his hands, and they would basically control his hands and run his hands and have him off balance, and it didn't compromise situations. So I gave him a D, man, and I was being nice because, you know what I'm saying, I just didn't want to be a negative Ned, you know what I'm saying, in a situation. I could have easily made that grade F, Bear Truth 9, but I gave him a D because I thought there were some things he did well in the run game, but he needs a lot of room for improvement, which I'm going to comment about that right guard position going up. Larry Borum, shout out to Larry Borum, man. I gave Larry Borum a B plus because I did an in-depth breakdown of Larry Borum film footage from last season, and Larry Borum looks like a totally different player. And I told y'all, all my detractors on Twitter, I told y'all, I said, listen, y'all want me to jump on the Larry Borum train like I didn't break down film, like I didn't spend hours breaking down film, and I'm just going to jump on it because you said so. I'm not doing that. If I put in the work on film and I break somebody down, the only thing that's going to change my mind is the film. So I gave Larry Borum a B plus. Not only did Larry perform well at the right tackle position, he actually switched out and got later reps at left, and he performed well at the left tackle position too. And listen, he looks lighter, leaner. His feet were good. He looked more confident. He looked sure of himself, both in the pass game and the run game. But his feet were anchored. He got to his kick step quick. He anchored his feet. He got there before the defender. He got to the point of attack before the defender. His feet were already anchored. I didn't see as much bending at the waist. So somebody, I'll do a clip maybe later to tag Mama Bear on Twitter because she hating on me because, you know what I'm saying, I'm telling the truth about what I see on film about her baby. But listen, here's the details. He got to the point of attack quicker. He anchored his feet. He didn't bend at the waist and lunge at the waist and get himself off balance. That may be due to the weight loss. He's not carrying as much flab and flubber up top. So he was able to keep himself back and sit in the chair, as we call it. In offensive line play, he was able to sit back in the chair and punch with balance. And that kept him on balance. And he used his hands really well. And then I really like how I saw Larry come off the ball in the run game and be very physical and aggressive. Came off the ball, right? He struck at the point of contact. He brought his hands with him with great timing, and he finished blocks. So B plus for Larry right there. Again, overall for the offensive line, I gave him together. I think that would average out to about a B minus maybe for the offensive line, B minus C plus for the offensive line. Again, I was very impressed with the offensive line. I'll say this, we have to definitely shore up that right side. So if Larry Borum is the backup to Riley Reef, then I'm excited for this offensive line because if Riley Reef comes in and show better than Larry Borum, and Larry Borum got a B plus in his first outing, I'm impressed with this group already. And what we need to do now is we need to go ahead and put some pressure on that right guard spot, put pressure on Schofield to perform. So this is me. I haven't been a advocate for this in the past. So I'll say this. Yeah, Carter's probably going to be the next guy. And in order for us to play both a zone scheme and a run power concepts where you have pulling guards, I would definitely give Carter an opportunity at starting. But if you don't get what you can get, what you're trying to get, then I would throw as many bodies at that right guard position as you can. I'm not saying throw Schofield to the woods or nothing like that. I'm just saying, it's, what I'm saying, it's barbecue mildew or doo-doo. Like, we want to see winning football here in Chicago, create competition at the right guard spot, and let us get a guy. I would give Larry Borum a shot, right? I would give Tevin Jenkins a shot. Like, if dudes don't want to move position, screw them, bro. All together, we need to solidify that spot, right? So give Carter a shot. Give Tevin a shot. Because Tevin's big frame in there would cause, you know what I'm saying? If Tevin's not going to allow for the pocket to collapse, and he's not going to get beat as easy. What I would be concerned about with Borum and Tevin Jenkins at the guard spot is when you want to pull with those guys, right? Which Larry may not be such of an issue since he lost the weight, right? And Tevin is pretty nimble for a big guy. But I would be a little bit concerned about those guys pulling across formations in power concepts and counters and stuff like that. But I don't care. If it means if you have to do less pulling to uh keep Justin Fields clean, then I would throw those guys out there and give them opportunity, man. So I'm gonna get to you guys' comments in a second. I don't want to skip past this, man, because I did grade the second team offensive line as well. So real fast, I'm gonna run down them guys without a whole lot of explanation. I may pick out one or two guys that I thought really impressed. So second team O-line grades. Coleman, I gave a C plus. Thomas, I gave a C. Doug Kramer, man, I gave a B plus. I thought he was the best out of the second group. And I will give Kramer opportunities at pushing Mustipher at the center position. I wouldn't allow them to cement themselves and think, Mustipher is the guy. I really like what I saw of Kramer on his feet. He never was off assignment. He was being physical the whole time. He came off the ball in the run game, brought his hand, finished plays in the run game. I didn't see as much, and here's the difference between him and Mustipher, I think. I didn't see as much as collapsing of the pocket with Kramer in. Now, that's the second unit, so you don't know what you would get with him versus a starter, a first-teamer defensive player. But I would give him the opportunity to prove that he can't do the job. And, again, keep competition at that center and right guard position. Carter, I gave a B minus. I felt like early on and Carter's my guy, but I felt like early on he might have had nerves and stuff like that, and he was just kind of a little bit slow to attack, slow to come off the ball in the run game. And then there was a play or two early on where he was a little bit lost, and he opened his gate in the passing game, right? He opened the gate. When I mean open the gate, you play with your shoulder pads parallel to the line of scrimmage versus, playing vertical to the line of scrimmage where you open the gate. If there's a gate, you're always supposed to keep the gate closed as an offensive lineman, and I felt like he did that early. I also gave Tevin Jenkins a B. Now, Tevin, I felt like started slow. He looked super slow early on in his reps. He was late to the point of attack with his kick in the passing game. He was late, but he made up for it with his length of his arms and his strength, where he was able to drive players past the hole. And then later on, it seemed like he caught a wind of the speed of the game, and his feet caught up with him later, right? I don't know what that is. I don't know if his mind wasn't really there at the beginning of the game coming off the bench or whatnot, but I was really concerned at first, and then, it seemed like later on, he got the message that it was a football game and we were going live. And then you begin to see him dominate guys in both the passing game and the running game. I really, really, really liked him in the running game. How he came off the ball, how physical he was with his hands. So he came off the ball fast, brought his hands, and he finished blocks. I saw him get a couple combo pancakes in there. I was concerned about the little bit of start of the game. Now, that's why I said if he's going to be a sure thing in the run game, then maybe we can kick him inside the guard, which I've been against in the past. But again, it's all about winning. And again, I identified my specific concern with moving him inside. I don't know. I know he's a nimble, he's an agile guy. But I don't know about pulling both him and Larry, pulling them as guards, right? And that may be why the team wanted him to drop those additional pounds, because Larry dropped the pounds if he can give it up. But Larry dropped the pounds, and I would feel more comfortable right now with Larry pulling than Tevin. If Tevin can get down, maybe the 315, Herb Howard said he didn't have 310 to give. If he can get down and they kick him in the guard, and Riley Reef shows up as better than Borum was, bro, our offensive line is going to be a problem. They solidify. We get Patrick back, right? We get Patrick back, and we shore up the right guard position. And if Reef is better than Borum, I feel good about going in and starting with Borum, right? Somebody tag the Borum train people and let them know right? Coach saw the film, and it's not personal against Larry Borum. My God, y'all so sensitive out there. Anyway, I feel comfortable starting with Borum. Short right guard, if it's Jenkins, whoever. I like it, man. I like this group, man. I like this group. So don't want to harp on that a whole lot, man. So I appreciate y'all. Listen, let me do this real fast because I got to do it. I always do it. Definitely got to give a shout out to my guys. Hopefully my mouse wakes up real fast here. Do me a favor, man. Don't forget, if you're watching this on the playback, do me a favor, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, man. But right now, let me give a shout out to all my field soldiers, man. Shout out to you guys, man. Those are all the subscribers to the channel. Over 2,000 of you. We're pushing up on 3,000 in less than a year. The start of the season, maybe about 2 or 3 weeks into the season, we'll be having done this for a year. Started my channel. I actually didn't start coming on the channel with video until about 6-7 months ago. So almost 3,000 subscribers in like 6 or 7 months, man. We're doing really good. So shout out to the field soldiers, man. I appreciate you guys. Much love to you. I appreciate your feedbacks on the videos. Listen, I'll say this as well, man. Coach T is a football coach, bro. It's not my intention to become a, expert YouTuber and all this other stuff. Shout out to my boy, Pat the designer over at Winter City Breeze, man, that gave me some feedback. He's like, Coach T, you got to switch the camera angle up sometime, man, all this other stuff. Listen, I'm in the middle of making a decision on whether or not I'm going to move or if I'm going to build out my basement in my current house, right? I want a bigger place. And if I do either, once I do either, the full studio effect will definitely be a part of the channel, man. So just bear with me. Right now, y'all got to do it myself, the little Chicago Bears background. But you know what I'm saying? Pay attention to what I'm saying, bro. Don't worry about all the fluff, man. You know what I'm saying? Coach got that good, football X's and O content for you, man. So let's do this, man, real fast. Let's jump into the DM.
It goes down in the DM. It go down in the.
Okay, I had to jump out of there real fast because they flagged me real fast last week, so I don't want to have that happen again this week. Let me catch some of these comments. Let me take this down so I'm not bleeding over. My boy, Bear Truth Mind, he's one of my A1 day ones. He's been there since the beginning. Said Jenkins from Poole, more explosive, Borum more smooth. I like Jenkins at right tackle over Borum, but for pulling sake, he probably is saying for pulling sake, he would go with Jenkins. I would want to see him experiment with it. Either way, I'm good. I'm good with it, right? I'm good with it. My boy Don Burris in the comments. Detroit over nobody. We ain't playing that. But shout out to my guy Don Burr, man. I appreciate you here, man. Always keeping it live in the chat. Brian Reed said Coach did analysis on it, man. I'm gonna always start with the offensive line, bro. I'm gonna break them down every week. Unfortunately, this week I didn't have all 22 because the NFL is slow on uploading all 22 footage. But what y'all need to know about this is before there was a such thing as all 22, I was breaking down film footage off of basic side angles anyway. You just watch the first quarter and then you watch when they flip to the second quarter and they flip side and you can watch the other side of the offensive line anyway, right? There's things that you can surmise from watching, basic old sideline views. So not to worry on that, but I'm still going to have that all 22 footage for you. Back with Bear Truth Mind because he's field soldiers. I always like to highlight what y'all guys said in the comment. Kramer M, I'm watching him now, but I'm with you on giving him a chance over Mustafa, man. I'm telling you, bro, Kramer impressed me, bro. He's a rookie. He's a center. All the responsibilities that centers have to have. They have to make the line calls at the beginning of the play. So when you break the huddle. Now, I did see on one corner blitz where I believe Simeon was sacked on a corner blitz where Kramer made the incorrect line call. You'll see that play. There was a cornerback sack off the edge. I believe it was a blitz. Kramer made the incorrect line call. So he slid the protection to the right. And I believe the blitz came from the left, leaving the corner wide open. Now, that's not necessarily on Kramer. He comes to the line of scrimmage, points out the mic, makes the slide protection call to the strength. So he's going to give you a rain or lightning call, meaning rain, meaning right, lightning, meaning left. That means the line's going to split 3-by-2. The 3 is going to go to the side of the call. The 2 is going to man up on the backside. What should have happened is the quarterback should have saw the blitzer walking up and then said easy, 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 and then adjusted the protection. That's the intricacies of football. It's happened. It's a preseason game, so I'm not going to crucify anyone for that. But it did happen, man. So my man Jeffrey McLaughlin said, I'd rather see Tevin at guard than Larry. Listen, Jeffrey, I'm not disagreeing with you, man. Be honest with you. If Larry's going to be our swing tackle or push Riley Reef to be who he needs to be, right? Let him be the swing guy, or let him continue to push Reef for a starting position. I'm not messing with Braxton right now. I'm just gonna come on record and say that. Leave the kid alone. Let him play ball. I think Braxton's gonna take his lumps, right? I'm not naive, right? It's not an 18-game season. All he's been seeing so far is pretty much speed rushes. I want to see what he does against one of our better pass rushers in the league. But leave him alone. Let Larry compete at right. If he's comfortable there, my first thing would be to give Tevin a shot at right guard. Tevin and Carter. That would be my first instinct. Let me see. I think Jenkins can be a better puller out of the two. Agree with Bear Truth. Let me get somebody new in here. Brent Morgan said, why haven't they not put Whitehair at center? He is a starting center at one time. He was Brent Morgan, but I think in this system, Cody Whitehair is a better guard, right? He's athletic enough to pull across formations, and he's strong enough in the zone scheme at the point of contact that he can do what he can do. Plus, we have decent centers. Like, Mustapher wasn't horrible. I don't want to put. Listen, compared to last year, Musty looked pretty decent. I just felt like Doug Kramer looked a little bit better. And what we may not be seeing on the film is Kramer may not be as good at Mustapher as making the line and slide protection calls. People don't think it's more than just snapping the ball. A center is basically a quarterback of that offensive line. It's more than just snapping the ball and blocking. You have to make sure you're making the right calls. And Musty may just have a edge on him when it comes to making the calls. That may be the difference. Bear Truth 9, Jenkins and Reef would be a battle, but it would be Jenkins at right tackle or right guard because I believe Borum is our best 5 guy. Don't disagree with you right there, Bear Truth, at all. We are tracking my guy. Jeffrey said, is Riley hurt? No, I think a number of our starters just sat out yesterday for wear and tear reasons, man, because we haven't heard anything about Riley Reef being hurt up until this point. Now I'm good on the offensive line. I think I answer you guys' comments or address you guys' comments. I'm going to switch over topics and tell you guys how I evaluated the footage, right? So my first sweep through was with the offensive line. My second sweep through was to evaluate Luke Getsy himself, right? And I have some film for y'all. To have detailed slow motion breakdowns like I typically do throughout the season, coaches in preseason mode themselves. So y'all just gonna get clips here and there, and I'll describe the clips as I go through it. But evaluating Luke Getsy. First of all, overall grade for Luke Getsy, man, I have to give him a B-, man. And understanding this, as an offensive coordinator, you're not going to show your full deck of cards, right? So I posted this on Twitter. What did I want to see out of this team, out of this offense in the first preseason game? I said I wanted to see good game time operations. First of all, offensive football is very complicated. I'm an former offensive coordinator. It's a lot of moving parts to get your game plan ready, to put in, install a playbook, to get your personnel groupings together, all that other stuff. It's a lot of work. So game time operations can't be overlooked. What are game time operations? Just coming out, man, the warm-ups, from the warm-ups to the coin toss, to the coaches communicating on the headset, to actually the play on the field, getting the play called in time, right? There was no delay of games, right? That I remember. No delay of games on any of the streams, first, second, or third string that I remember, right? Very few. I think there might have been like one illegal formation penalty that might have been, but no false starts. So if we're switching up the cadence this year and we're going on 2 and 3 more than going on 1, then there were no false starts that I remember. Breaking the huddle, getting to the line of scrimmage. I'm not talking about the plays themselves. I'm talking about game operations, right? Just everything you have to do to get a play off. It's not that easy, right? It's not. This is not Tecmo Bowl. This is not Madden. It's not that easy. So imagine being a person that coordinates all that, right? So B- for Luke Getsy and doing that, and then going back to the offensive line. I evaluate the game from the offensive line back. Um, I'm going to say this outright. Luke Getsy knows, he understands protections. I can see that on film already. He knows what he wants to do with protection. One of the videos I posted last year, one of my most popular videos from when I first started, was how Matt Nagy's pass route distances didn't match the protection or the ability of his offensive line, right? So the offensive line under Nagy was incapable of blocking 5-man protections for routes more than about 3 to 5 yards, right? Three step drops, the ball needed to be out because that line couldn't block 5-man protection like that, right? So Luke Getsy, I understand and I see he wants to go 5-man protection about 50% of the time, which again, all of my detractors like, oh, you trying to be like Nagy and block 5-man protection. No, I'm saying you have to match your players, your offensive line's abilities with the routes, the distance of the routes your wide receivers run, right? So if you can't get down the field with 5-man protection, then you need to go with 60 and 70 protection, which is 6-man and 7-man protection, to cover up the inabilities of your offensive line. But to account, Luke Getsy looks like he ran about five. He ran 5 and 6-man protection about 50% of the times. About 50% of the times. When you go back and watch the film, all of the big plays you've seen, except for about one, all of the big plays you saw, the switch route to Darnell Mooney on the sideline where we ran a wheel seam route, right? A seam wheel, right? Seam wheel with Darnell Mooney. I don't remember who was on the other side with him. The seam route, the big jump ball. He went over the top and got the ball. That was 6-man protection. All of the good plays you saw were out of 6-man protection. Again, we don't watch football the game. I'm watching this stuff. I want to know how we're protecting if we're using 50, 60, 70-man protection, right? Because it affects our success in the long term. And we were able to get away with 5-man protection a lot of the time, right? A lot of the time. I don't think Justin Fields was as comfortable in 5-man protection though. So a criticism of Justin is I want to see him stand tall in the pocket, even with 5-man protection. And then when there's trouble, I want to see him step up into the pocket instead of escaping right? Step up, right? And that's about timing with your offensive lineman. That's about being comfortable. And again, you can't step up when Mustipher and Schofield is getting pushed in your lap. So I would like to see us get somebody in there where they can make a nice little crease in the middle where he can step up in the pocket and still make plays down the field with his eyes. So is that on Justin? Maybe not. But out of 5-man protection, I'm just saying I didn't see that he was as comfortable in those situations. I also saw in evaluating Luke Getsy is this 5-man protection. He wants to get the ball out of Justin's hands because he's not sitting there. He's not going to sit there and try and get 10 and 15 and 20-yard routes out of 5-man protection. That was not what Nagy did. Nagy would try to get 30-yard routes out of 5-man protection. And that was a fundamental play design flaw that I criticized him from 2018 when we were winning to the time he was fired. You can't get 30-yard down the field routes out of 5-man protection. Now you can do what Luke Getsy does. Luke Getsy devised a route combination where Justin can still get 5-man drops, right? Take a 3-step drops or a 5-step drop and still be able to hit a deep pass down the field. What that entails is forcing teams into single high coverage and taking advantage of the outside receivers on single high coverage, right? So if you go back and saw some of the long plays that Trevor Siemian hit, the sideline throw to Tajay Sharp, the sideline throw to Tajay Sharp, the deep pass, it was like a simple three-step hitch drop, and Tajay on the 9 route, he just laid it out. Ball was out of his hands, and you can do that when you force teams into single high coverage because you know the safety can't always get all the way over to the sideline. So shout out to Luke Getsy, man. I just thought, it was genius. Kansas City showed a lot of single high safety coverage, and we took advantage of it on the sidelines. Like Justin and the other quarterbacks were able to come up to the line of scrimmage and see that we had single high coverage and take advantage of it. Now, let me shift over to the run game and what Luke did in the run game. That's why I started the show with my playbook, man, because I told y'all what we should probably see out of this run game. You guys probably recognize the outside zone, inside zone. That stuff is easy to recognize. But I wanted to show you guys plays like this that aren't easy to recognize. So I called this in the offseason when we did our playbook, and just to rub it in, I'm going to show it again because I'm petty. The power play, right? The power play. And I said, listen, we're not just going to come up and run power, right? We're not just going to come up and run power. I'm going to show it again. We're not just going to come up. Watch the pulling guard. See the pulling guard? That's power. Fullback leads up on the end. Listen, this is exactly how we drew it up in the playbook session. The fullback leads up on the outside guy, guard pulls, and you fall forward for as many yards. That's for when you gotta get a yard or two. That's for when you gotta get a yard or two, when you gotta get a first down. Everybody should know. You should be able to draft that play up and call that play, and everybody in the stadium know you're running power, and you can still get 3 to 5 yards on that play. So that's the power play that we ran. But again, here's another look at what I said we would do, right? We're not just going to come up and run power in these scenarios, right? We're not just going to come up and line up and run power. We're going to go Z-flea motion, orbit, right? And we'll run power sometimes, and sometimes we'll hand off the reverse off of power. So let's go take a look at that. Coach T in his bag. See? Power off of power. The reverse is off of power. The reverse came off of the power play. So go back to the power play. Watch the formation. That's pro left eye, right? And then what you come back off of that pro left eye do same formation. You just run the reverse, right? That's what we showed right here when we did the playbook, man. So I just wanted to let y'all know, you know what I'm saying? Coach T just don't be making stuff up, bro. It's just fundamental things that you can do in football that you have to do. There's certain tenets, right? So I was back to evaluate Luke Getsy and get off myself and give myself a pat on the back. Luke Getsy did his thing, man. Run game, he showed outside, inside zone. He showed weak side zone. He showed power, right? He showed power. He showed the reverse and showed that he had wrinkles off power. Either the jet sweep out of shotgun, he showed he had wrinkles, and then he also showed he had the reverse off of power. And of course, you're not going to show your whole playbook. I didn't see any counters, so I'll expect to see the counters, the jet sweeps, and all of the more complicated concepts as we get in the season. So overall for Luke Getsy, man, shout out to him. B minus, man. B minus. B minus only because we didn't see everything that he has in the gambit. And I wouldn't show it either, right? I wouldn't show it either. So shout out to Luke Getsy. Luke Getsy. I'll do some more film, and then I'll come back to the comments, see what you guys have to say. Definitely want to see what my boy Swift had to say because I didn't catch his comment. Gonna throw up another play, and then we'll see what this play is, and I'll describe it coming out of the play. Yeah. That's the big grab by Tajay Sharp on the sideline. And I think what I want to highlight here, man, I want to highlight that, you know what I'm saying, Luke Getsy knows, again, he knows how to protect schemes, right? He knows how to protect pass plays. This is what I was talking about. Just a quick either 5 or 6 man protection, allow your guys to hitch up. I think we went with 6 man protection on this one. So you see the running back come up and help right there. That's why those plays work. That's why those plays work. Right? You need 6 man protection if you're trying to get down the field. If you're trying to get down the field, you need that running. You need to add a 6 man to the protection. Like if you need to add a 6 man to the protection, by all means do it, right? Last year, Nagy would have ran this with 5 man protection, and Justin Fields would have got planted and sacked for a safety. You see the guy come up. You see the running back step up into the pocket right there and help the offensive line. So they slide the protection to one side and they help him out right there. So again, if you're trying to get the ball down the field on big plays, shout out to Tajay with the great grab, which is what most people would see in that situation. But how we're protecting it, a lot of times people don't pay attention to, man. So let y'all know that's what I'm looking at. Sometimes I see it during the game. Right, I'll start to see it during the game. It'll jump out at me at the game, during the game, and then I'll go back on film footage, and it'll confirm what I saw in flash. Right, another play. This is an example to me of. I think this one right here was an example of a 5 man protection really just not doing what Luke wanted to do right there, right? That's a 5 man protection, 50 protection right there. And I just think, the pocket's getting collapsed too fast on 5 man protection right there, right? It's just Schofield, man, getting beat, man. And us having to find an answer. Again, important, back to my detractors, bro. Why 5 man protection is so important, right? If you can win with the guys up front, the 5 up front, just 5, then you can get more guys out in the route combination. Now imagine Schofield makes himself solid right here and makes himself dependable right here and gives you a solid pocket. Now, you know what I'm saying? There's no telling what you can get out of this situation. All right, on to the next play. I'll just move straight into the next play. Sorry about the graphics. Real fast, man. I want to show this play because Justin did leave some plays out on the field. And this was one of them. So this is going to flash for you real fast. Pay attention to Darnell Mooney coming across the formation on a drag route right in front of Justin's face right here. Wide open right there. Boom. Just take what they give you, man. Take what they give you. So I don't know if he saw him or what, but he had plenty of time. He's just going to want that one back. That was just on Justin. He's going to want that one back. I just want to highlight that those plays are out there. And I got one more clip for you. Oh, is this the touchdown? Yes. Touchdown. So if you join the show last week, I talked about how you use trips and flood concepts to beat uh, zone coverages, and to beat too high safeties, right? To compromise guys and teams that want to play too high safeties. So let's go and take another look at that play. This is going to be a trips. This is a trips bunch type. So 3x1 tight, right? So when I say tight, that means we're going trips, but we're bringing them in closer to the offensive line, right? Bringing everything in. And this is a staple. Like, this is another reason why I know Luke knows what he's doing. When you go to the red zone, understand you can't go deep anymore because you have less field to work with. So when you go in the red zone, you go with bunch tight formations because now you have to work horizontal. You can't work vertical anymore. Now you have to work horizontal. You have to use all 53 and 1/3 yards wide width of the field and work horizontal. So you want to give a lot of mesh concepts, meaning you want to get a lot of crossing concepts, and you want receivers running sideline to sideline now. And then you're going to add some layer and depth to keep the safeties back, but you want some crossing route underneath. And this is where we got them caught up. So we're going 3x1. We're going trips bunch right with some kind of flood concept right here where we have a layer. We got a deep guy, we got an intermediate guy, and then we got a shallow guy. And then we hit Daz Newsome for the touchdown right here. I talked about this last week when we had my boy Ville on the show. So you got your shallow, you got your intermediate, and you got Daz on the deep route. Again, man, shout out to Luke Getsy for understanding the assignment and putting it on film and making it happen, man. So overall grade, like I said, for Luke Getsy is a B-. That's the offense. For the team overall, I would give a solid B-. We executed one of dumb penalties. They hustled on defense. They tackled on defense. They turned the ball over on defense. Outside of the first drive, I thought we played well. Again, it's the first game. Guys are getting their footing and all that other stuff. And, you know what I'm saying, you just expect a little bit of nerves, especially with a young team. But new head coach, new offensive coordinator, first time calling plays in a while. Alan Williams, first time calling defenses in a while. You know, it's like that, man. It's, you know, it was just one of those things, bro. Where, you know, you got to account for the youth of your football team. So overall, again, man, great showing. A lot of smart, intelligent, good football, good things for Bears fans to be excited about seeing, especially going into next week. But we got to build on that. We got to shore up that right guard position. Again, I'm going to look at the film and I'll do a defensive breakdown for next week. My boy Swift said Tecmo Bowl is legit. No, it ain't, Swift. It's not legit. All you got to do is use Bo Jackson every time, bro, and the Raiders, and nobody can beat you. Tecmo Bowl. Shout out to my guy Swift, man. I'm gonna try and do an hour. I bumped the show up a little bit by an hour because this is gonna be our regular time, and plus I'm making some life adjustments so I can continue to do the show. I wanted to catch my guy Swift comment because I don't know if I'm gonna be on long enough for him to make it in. I think we want to see Bourne and Tevin at right tackle. They know what they got in Reef. I didn't need to see it. Maybe Swift, maybe you meant right guard. You said Bourne. We saw Bourne at right tackle and left tackle yesterday. Maybe you meant right guard. I want to see those guys. At least Tevin get a shot at right guard, right? Bourne be the swing guy, or he'll continue to be push Reef for the starting position. But we got to do something at right guard. We got to do, and I'm not giving up on Carter yet. Continue to get a kid a shot. I just think right now with Patrick out, having your center be Mustapher and him not being solid, and like I said, I felt Kramer played a little bit better than he did, right? I felt like Kramer played a little bit better than he did. So having your center and your guard be rookies and inexperienced at both positions, I'm just not feeling it. So I feel like once we get Patrick back, and if we were to put Tevin at right guard and give Kramer a shot, this line would be just a little bit better. But we got 3 more games to be able to figure that out, man. So shout out to my guy Swift, man. Y'all know how I feel about Swift, man. Love you, man. I was harassing Swift and Ville this week about the Roquan situation this week. But listen. If my schedule permits, I'm going to do a Wednesday breakdown of the defense because I realize, former offensive coordinator, more passionate about offensive football, but I understand defensive concepts as well. I want to take a look at this defense in depth. So this gives me a couple days to do that work and put it in there and make it do what it do. I'll throw this up real fast because Deshaun just came in here and I want to just because he said, can Reef play at the right guard? I heard Reef say during a press conference he's played all of the positions except center. It's just up to the staff. So, I don't know. Maybe if they see Borum was clean and I gave Borum a great grade, I don't know. I don't know. See, what you don't want to do though is you don't want to do wholesale changes on your offensive line. You do small adjustments, right? Like you're steering the ship, right? You don't want to. You don't you're changing cylinders in your car. You don't change like wholesale engine changes right there. That offensive line is your engine. You make small tweaks to it. So what I would do is I wouldn't change up 2 guys this coming week, right? If it's my line, I wouldn't change up 2 guys this week because chemistry is just as important as the one, right? So the one position, right? So that chemistry is important as well. So what I would do is if you're really concerned about right guard, give somebody a shot at right guard, right? And keep Mustipher in there, right? And then worry about center later, right? Let Doug get some more experience with the second team and then put somebody at right guard. And then once you solidify right guard, then you make your tweaks at center. But understanding at some point, we're going to get Patrick back anyway. So, you know what I'm saying? Just make small adjustments, no wholesale things, but I would make my adjustment this week at right guard first. Go with Mustipher again for another week. See how whoever the new starter at right guard gels with Mustipher. And then if Mustipher has another bad week, because remember, it could be Musty, but it could be Schofield and Mustipher and how they work together and how they gel. Like the interior is a little bit different than outside. It's about chemistry as well too. So let me see who else I got in here real fast. Coach, what kind of move would you do to help this wide receiver core? I don't know, man. Honestly, because we got to think about something, right? Velus Jones Jr. didn't play, and also Cole Kmet didn't play, and then also Corey Blasingame. Did I get the first name right? Second name, Blasingame. The fullback didn't play, right? Those are weapons. You have plays in your playbook for each of those guys. You have concepts, right? And then you have packages, right? So you're going to have a Velus Jones Jr. package. You're going to have a you're going to have a Cole Kmet package. You're going to have a Darnell Mooney package. The guys you feel like that are weapons, you're going to have a package of plays for. You're going to have a David Montgomery package, right? Whoever's our guy, second running back, electric. And then you're going to have your general offensive concepts where you feel like, okay, whether it's Ebner, whether it's Khalil Herbert, I should just be able to run these plays, right? But as far as a wide receiver core or receivers, eligible receivers, yeah, we don't have the full full complement of our weapons. Imagine Velus Jones Jr. is in the slot and runs the play that Darnell Mooney ran on the switch concept or the seam wheel concept. You know what I'm saying? If Velus Jones is that much more faster, maybe Justin Field lays that ball out in front of him and it goes for a touchdown. That's what I'm saying. So we'll see as we ramp up, man. With the full complement. But again, we didn't have everybody yesterday. We didn't have our full complement of starters on offense and defense, and the boys played pretty good. What's Swift talking about? Hey, he could, but I'd rather Borum or Jenkins to right guard this year, to be honest. But I like Carter. Yeah, I agree with you, Swift. Borum or Jenkins, give him a shot, bro. The only thing you can do is come out with what I call a V12 offensive line, right? A V12. And then maybe it's going to take Tevin getting in that position and seeing how he's helping the team perhaps to deal with, kind of his reservations about switching positions and stuff like that. And again, if the guy gets down to 315 or even 310, which is probably extreme for his frame, then I would pull him. I would still pull him. That'll be a problem. Tevin coming with his agility off the edge and smacking somebody on a pull could be real problems for people. So let me see. Let's see. Dana, $5 from Dana. What up, coach? My grandson started playing Pee Wee football for the Cowboys. Great stream. Oh, shout out to Dana. Shout out to your grandson, man, for playing Pee Wee football for the Cowboys. I imagine this weekend. So shout out, man. Also, man, shout out. We try to make the show family friendly. Shout out to all the youth league, middle school, and high school football players who started playing football this weekend. Shout out to my boy Keith Chatton at Spoto High School in Tampa, Florida. One of my mentors who just took over the job down there, who started his season this weekend. I got to go back and check and see what the results of the game was. Yes, Bear True said V12, V12. Yes, so if anybody remembers me describing offensive line, describing the offense like a vehicle. The offense is like a vehicle. I always teach this to my players when I start coaching. Your offense is a vehicle. Your offensive line is your engine. And sometimes you got to swap cylinders in and out to make sure your offense can move at the velocity, at the speed, at the efficiency that you want it to. You don't want a blown cylinder. You don't want a blown head gasket in your offense, because that causes problems. That causes you to stall. That causes you to slow down. You're not getting the power and efficiency out of your offense that you can. So, yeah, I always use that analogy for offensive play and offensive football. But listen, man, shout out to you guys, man. I want to do more than what I'm doing today. I hope y'all got something out of today's show. Again, I appreciate all my field soldiers. I appreciate my guy Swifty. Follow him on his channel. He's going to have a lot of videos for you and content for you. Do me a favor, you watch this on the playback. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Holla at me on Twitter, man. Bears360 _ Coach T. Also follow Windy City Breeze, my boy Pat the Designer, P Kid. Who else I want to shout out to? Bears DIY Media. Also, my boys over the 3 Stand Podcast, Ville and Alfredo. Shout out to them guys doing great works. And if I left anybody out, don't be mad at me. Shout out to my boy Box, as always, supporting in the comments. I don't want to start calling names because I don't want to offend nobody, man. But hopefully, I'll see y'all on Wednesday with the defensive breakdown. We're going to get back to it. Until then, man, it's peace out and bear down from Coach T. I'll talk to y'all soon, man.